So here's a few of the flowers I made and just cutting some of the overspill off. Back to the vase and the brush that I used to do the dabbing motion for the texture on the vase. And now we get into the wedding flowers. Finally, after months of stalling this project, I bought this frame for my daughter's wedding bouquet, and it's too small, so I practiced basically with one of the wedding guest flowers, and I'm just preparing it with some frog tape, taking out the front acrylic sheet and sealing it with some E6000 glue around the edges and just pressing the back in as well before I pour the resin in. So I can't just do one project, can I? I've got to do another one. So this is a frame that I bought from Temu and some privacy screen. I've seen other people on YouTube doing this technique and I thought it was really good, so I thought I'd give it a go. So I'm just dipping the frame in some resin to stick it onto the privacy screen. But I made a bit of a mess and spent a long time cleaning it up. So this flower is air dried. My daughter air dried them, and this is one of the wedding guest flowers, and we've decided not to colour correct the flowers, so this was my first attempt at wedding flowers, so I was quite nervous. And I've been putting it off for weeks and weeks, actually for months, but I finally got round to it. I've had to order a larger frame for my daughter's flowers, so I will be doing her bouquet soon. And I've not entirely covered this rose because I like the bow and I like the fact that you can still touch the flowers, so I've left it kind of sticking out of the resin. I'm not going to put another coat on. I was thinking to cover it completely, but I'll chat with my daughter about it and see what she wants me to do, but I quite like the fact that you can still touch the flower. So a bit of positioning. I actually liked the knot in the arrangement as it symbolises tying the knot, so I was kind of emphasising the knot in the middle of the frame. On to the little sideline of the lotus flower that I've placed on some privacy screen. I didn't level the table and I didn't wait long enough for the resin to set, so that when I eventually did put more resin in, it moved around quite a lot in the frame, but I'm just cleaning up the initial resin that I put on it at the moment because I didn't really want it all over the frame. So about 6 hours later, I go back in and I had about 500 mils of resin, and I start covering the rose and a bit more of the ribbon. The good thing about doing two projects side by side is you can keep an eye on them both. Oh, and here's my cat again. She's being very friendly at the moment. So after checking the flower frame was level, I go back in and I'm scooping resin out of the lotus flower because it's all leaking out into the green's leaking into the other petal that I didn't want it to, so I just kept scooping bits out that was leaking. So yeah, maybe I should just do one thing at a time in future. So just covering the wedding flower up so I can work on the lotus flower. I just got rid of some of the air bubbles with a cocktail stick on the wedding rose. I went round the edges with it and then proceeded to fill the lotus with some colour, and yeah, they were bleeding into each other, but that's fine. Moving on to the day after and just checking how everything's looking. And the lotus flower's a little bit thin in places. The wedding rose is fine. I was thinking of putting some more resin over it, but I didn't in the end. Just showing you the little flower mould that I used to make flowers. They're really cute and they're quite useful. I've attached them to a chandelier, I've made sun catchers with them, made key rings with them, and I've stuck them on the vase obviously. So I did decide not to do any more resin on the wedding flower and decided to do another project. Oh dear. So I chop up a little piece of the privacy screen and make a little panel to go over the light shade that I made out of sea glass and resin, and I make a little barrier with some blue gemstones, which is a bit like sand, blue sand, and I use some green and white sea glass in the middle just to fill in that gappy bit in the light shade. So I'll upload the finished projects. I'm going to have a day off today. I need a little rest. Thanks for watching.